What's up everybody, this is Derek here, and in this video we're going to be exploring the best way to drop or parachute out of the plane following the 0.5.0 global update. So 0.5.0 brought Miramar to PUBG Mobile, however it also changed the drop mechanics. So there's a different way to parachute now. You fall faster, you fall through your parachute more, and it's not as easy to get those crazy long distances. So what we'll be doing in this video is we will be testing three very popular drop methods, and how I'll be doing this is I'll basically be marking a spot on the minimap along the plane's route. I'll be dropping at that spot or very close to it, and then I'll use the drop method that I am highlighting, and then we'll see how far we go. And I know that this isn't done on a perfectly flat level ground, so there's going to be some topography that comes into play. I might not be marking the exact location that I'm dropping, but it's going to be very close, and I think it's going to be very representative of what an average player would actually get versus some super scientific test where, you know, all the variables are controlled. This is real world. I think that is more important when you're playing the game. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and try to mark something along the path that is pretty close. And first up will be the sideways dab method. So we call it the dab method because it looks like that's what you're doing through the air. It looks pretty funny, but it works well. Basically, so we'll see here. Like I said, the plane is flying along that route. I'm going to try to get it even closer to the plane's route. There we go. We're like right on top of it. Now I just have to push jump right when we get there. And it's very close. You can see the marker on the minimap versus where I landed, and it's pretty close. So we'll be actually running each of these tests 2 times. So I forgot to mention that. I'll run it 2 times. That way you can kind of take the average and get a better idea of exactly how far you might go. So this is the dab method, or the sideways drop method. Looks like you're dabbing through the air. How you do it is you either put your virtual joystick at 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock, so either full right or full left, and then you just ride it like that. You don't do any adjustments, otherwise you'll lose distance, and you just ride it like that until the parachute opens, and then you push full forward. You're going about 64 kilometers per hour down, and you cover some more distance with the parachute, and you get on the ground. So now we'll turn around and we'll see how much distance we covered, and it looks like just over 1050, so just over 1050 meters or so. So you can see I landed on a hill, so maybe I could have gotten a little bit more distance because I landed a little bit higher up versus one of the lower elevations, like closer to the ocean. However, like I said, this is real world, so I figure let's do it again. Let's try again and see how we do. So the dab method, for those of you not familiar with it, is 100% the fastest way up to about 1,000 meters. So if you're dropping from the plane and you are 1,000 meters or less to your target, so say you're dropping at school or Pochinki, or dropping at honestly any crazy thing, El Pozo or Los Leones or wherever, any popular place, basically this is the method you want to use if you want to get on the ground the fastest and you are 1,000 meters or less to your destination. And if you're less than 1,000, say you're 500 meters away, use this dab method, and then when you get close to your target, you get about 100 meters away or so, then switch to straight down. But this is the fastest way to get through the air, covering that horizontal distance while you're also losing vertical height. So they said up to 1,000 meters, there is no faster way that I know of. I always beat everybody to those hot locations by using this method. So it is by far the best for up to, there we go, I landed on a rock that time. And we have 1,090 meters, almost 1,100 meters. So if we landed on the road or something, if I didn't hit that rock, I probably would have reached 1,100. So you can see with the dab method, anywhere between 1,000 and 1,100 total. But what if you have to go further than that? So like I said, that is the fastest way up to 1,000 meters. If you're dropping like 400 or 500 meters, start out using that method, and then when you get about 100 meters away, switch to straight down. That way you fall through your parachute and you'll get on the ground first, almost guaranteed. So what if you want to fly further though? Because sometimes you want to reach a location that is over 1,000 meters away from the plane, obviously. So what we'll be doing now is we'll be testing out the look straight up method. Basically, I don't know, that's what I'm going to call it, because it's the method where you do a horizontal jump and you look straight up. So you can see right away I released at the target, or close to it at least, and I am looking straight up with my character, and I have the virtual joystick full forward at 12 o'clock, so all the way up. and you can see I'm dropping 126 kilometers per hour. This was increased, so it used to be less than this, which is how you could cover more distance, but now it's 126, so we'll see how far we can go using this method. This is probably one of the easiest methods, however, it isn't really the fastest. So it's a very easy method for beginners to use because all you have to do is point straight up with your camera and just point that little crosshair or that little circle somewhere by your character's butt, and that'll do it. So we are now floating down through the parachute. Let the parachute open automatically just so we get the maximum amount of time floating through the air like that. And this is meant to be an easy drop method, a very simple one, and we got how much? Just about 1,570 meters. So we'll go ahead and do it again just to confirm our findings, but it looks like this method gets you about 1,500 to 1,600 or so. So 1,570. Let's see if we can get on the plane's route. That looks pretty close. And once we get there, I'll count it down and I'll try to release as close to 0 meters away as possible. We'll float in one direction. Doesn't really matter what direction we're floating in, but we don't want to change it because if you change direction mid-flight, you're going to lose distance, of course. And here we go. So we are once again approaching our drop-off point. There it is. That's pretty close. So, you know, take this for what it's worth. Like I said, you know, this is more of a real world sort of test than a super scientific dropping perfectly at the same time and using, you know, perfect controls, because most of us at least can't do that in a real game. So what's the point of saying, oh, you can go 1,780 meters using this if you have to do it a super certain way to actually get that distance? So again, this one about 1,550 to 1,600 meters, and we are going to float again, and we'll see if we can confirm that. So parachute's about to open up automatically, and here we go. So once again, we are floating down, aiming that camera pretty much straight up, trying not to change direction at all. And it looks like we're going to be landing on the top of a mountain. So I expect this to be less because we're higher up here. So that was just the nature of the drop. 1,550. So this time, so it's really 1,550 to 1,600 would be my recommendation for those sorts of distances. That's how far you'll get with that sort of very simple method of dropping. Now, what about the 45 degrees? So this is the last drop we're going to look at. This is the third very popular method, and this is the method I used to reach over 2,000 meters prior to the update. This is the 45 degree method. So basically you're flying through the air 45 degrees. So you're not doing a full dab, but you're also not flowing straight ahead. So you can see I overshot the target a little bit, so we'll have to subtract maybe 25 meters or so from this drop, but it's going to be pretty close, and it looks like I'm probably going to land on a hill, so unfortunately it's going to be a little bit shorter than I could have gotten if I landed in a flatter area. So we'll just do it again and see what we get. So this is the 45 degree method. You can do it in either direction. You can see that the virtual joystick is kind of in the middle between full forward and full to the right, or full forward and full to the left. You could do it either way. This time, if you're looking at a clock, we're kind of around 1:30, 2 o'clock or so on the virtual joystick. Now we're going to float down. You can see I changed direction a little bit, so maybe we lost some distance there. So in order to account for the 25 meters or so that I dropped after I marked, I think it's going to be pretty good. But we landed on a high hill. We landed by shelter, so we landed on a high hill, which means we could have gotten further. So 1,853 meters. So for those of you thinking that there's no difference between what I just did and what I did before with that, you know, pointing straight up and pushing your joystick full forward, there definitely is, and that is proof of it. So 1,550 to 1,600 with the other method, and that method we got over 1,850 or so. So let's go ahead and we'll drop it one more time, and we'll see how well this method works. So even though you can't get 2,000 meters, and there is a way to get 2,000 meters, and for that video, cliffhanger, for that video, you'll just have to subscribe to the channel. It's going to be coming out in a few hours, so it's not really a big deal. I'm going to be working on that one right after this one. But you can get 2,000 meters. It's not too hard, but it is harder after the update than it was before. So just so you know, it is possible, but these are very easy methods. Everyone should be using one of these because they're super simple. Again, we're falling through the air, not changing direction, have the joystick at that 45 degree angle. We're floating straight down, and we'll see how far we get. So this is still the best way, unless you want a feathery parachute, which is how you get over 2,000 meters. That's what I'll be showing in another video. But unless you do that, this is as far as you can jump, at least as far as I know, after the 0.5.0 update without doing anything crazy. So we're letting the parachute open automatically. We're just falling straight down through it. And yeah, let's see how far we can get. So basically, if you're dropping 1,000, so summary, if you're dropping 1,000 meters or less, use the dab method. If you're dropping any more than that, use this method. You shouldn't use the vertical one looking straight up because you just don't get as much distance as quickly as you can with this method. So hopefully this video helped you out. If it did, definitely give it a thumbs up to help the channel grow. Share it with your friends and consider subscribing if you haven't already for tons more PUBG Mobile content. My name's Derek G, and I hope to see you in that future video soon.